Okay, well, good evening. It's Tuesday evening, so we're going to look at getting started here. Tonight's topic is going to be chiropractic during pregnancy, and I thought this would be a good topic. We've had a lot of people asking about over the years, do chiropractors see, pregnant women, and obviously we do. So my thinking has always been that if chiropractic is important for everybody, then it's doubly important for a woman during her pregnancy to get in and get under chiropractic care. We know that pregnancy can be a physically stressful time. It might seem like, a visit to the chiropractor would be awkward because of, obviously as the mother goes through her period of being pregnant each month, obviously this, her stomach's going to get larger. But there are ways that we can get around that and still allow her to really get the care that she needs. Especially we know that most women, when they go through pregnancy, over the course of that 9 months, they will start experiencing some lower back pain and lower back discomfort. Okay, so we also help you understand that with modern technology and chiropractic techniques makes the chiropractic adjustment, which is necessary for everyone. It becomes a more pleasant experience for the pregnant woman, especially and even during going through the third trimester. It's important to understand that pregnancy can create several different stressors on the structure of the mother's body, also on the mother's nerve system, and also on the baby itself. Okay, so we have to take into consideration that when we look at the human body, and when as mothers are going through this whole 9-month process, chiropractic can ease or also eliminate all of these stressors and allow a woman to go through the process and enjoy this special time of her life. So there are basically three things we're going to be looking at as we go through this process, and that is looking at the stress upon the structure, stress upon the nerve system itself, and also stress upon the baby, because these are three important factors that we have to look at as we go through the process of caring for a mother during her pregnancy. Okay, so we have to understand when we look at the stress upon the structure that the female body is subject to tremendous physical, emotional, and chemical stresses during the pregnancy period. Okay, but we also have to keep in mind that the way God created the human body, that a woman's body is designed to adapt to these stresses very adequately, providing that all of the mechanisms are functioning properly. So we want to make sure that as women go through the process of the pregnancy, we want to make sure that everything is functioning well. I think that when we think about the whole process of pregnancy also, we need to, and I think it's important for families to think in terms of having a team of doctors working with them, and then on that team of healthcare people, we certainly would be very wise to make sure that you have a chiropractor within that realm of making sure that your spine and everything's taken care of. So it's important as as we or the woman goes through pregnancy, that all the weight supporting structures they have to adapt to the developing child within that mother's stomach. Okay, this is especially true of the spine, which supports the weight of the entire body except for the legs. Okay, if one or more of the bones of the spine is subluxated or misaligned, there's no way that the mother to be's body can function normally. So it's important that we take that into account from a structural standpoint, and also understand that the increased weight-bearing responsibility of the body necessitates continual adaptation, which can only occur if the spine is in proper alignment. So it's important to understand that. So it's very key. I've always said that when I'm talking to my patients is that that the human body is an adaptive machine. And in order for it to adapt correctly, then that means that your nerve system has to be in proper alignment. So I use this again to help demonstrate that when we look at, this is just two segments of a spine. You have a vertebra above, a vertebra below. In between you got the disc. Down in here we have the spinal canal. Okay, the cord goes through. And on the side of the vertebra we have these nerves coming out, going to all parts of the body. So it's important that as the process of this pregnancy is occurring, that it's important that these vertebrae are maintained in proper alignment, which means that because of the adaptation that's occurring, each month that the mother's stomach is growing and it's getting bigger, and that's going to change the structure of how the mother or the woman would stand. So she tends to, as time goes on, she's going to probably lean back further, which means that there's a pull on the anterior portion of her body where the child is, and it's going to put a lot of stress in her lower back. So given those mechanics of what's going on, it becomes very important that the mother be checked on a regular basis to make sure that her spine is properly aligned, so that she can have a much easier pregnancy as she goes through the process. Next thing we want to look at is the stress upon the nerve system itself. Okay. So even more important than the structural stress is the interference caused by these subluxations to the vital nerve system of the mother, and this is very important. So we have to understand that every muscle, every ligament, organs, and also gland is controlled by the nerves that pass out from and between each of the bones of the spine, as we demonstrated here before. And understanding that there are a lot of physiological and chemical changes that are occurring during this process, okay? And this starts at the moment of conception, where sperm and egg comes together, and then this process starts to go through its cycle of two cells becoming one, then that's going to divide in 2, 4, 8, 16, that whole process, okay? So it's important that we understand that in order for that to happen in the right way, then it becomes very significant to understand that in order for that to occur, we have to make sure that the nervous system is functioning at its optimal level, okay? It's important also to, that these changes are, as these changes occur, that allows the mother to be able to adapt as quickly as possible to these changes as they are occurring throughout the period of the 9 months, okay? So vertebral subluxations, and when we talk about vertebral subluxations, again, we talk about when there are stressors that impact the human body, what are mental, emotional stress. And obviously, women are going to go through that as they go through the process of the 9 months of pregnancy. There's going to be physical stress. Physical stress on the human body can occur even as that was my staff leaving, okay? They're walking out of the office. So the physical trauma can obviously be as the child is developing inside of the mother. And obviously there are situations where, it could be the one child it could be, it could be twins, whatever. There's going to be a physical stressor on that mother throughout that period of time, okay? So, and also we have to think about chemical stressors, right? So these could be, things that we put into our body. It could be the environment, pollutions in the environment, the water that we're drinking, food that we're eating, thoughts that we're thinking. And so during this time, going through pregnancy, is very critical and very important that the mother be in an environment that is very, very peaceful. If obviously being married or having a significant other, that whole time as that mother is going through this pregnancy, we have to be very mindful to make sure that the mother is taken care of in such a way that she doesn't have to deal with unnecessary stresses, because unnecessary stresses are going to impact her nerve system, which in turn is going to impact that child also. So it becomes very, very important. And any of those stresses, whether it be mental, emotional, physical, or chemical, they are going to cause an impact on the human body. And remember that we have, as we talked in the past, we talked about how the human body can adapt, is an adaptive machine adapting us to the environment in which we exist. So if at any point in time that the mother is encountering a significant amount of stress or prolonged stress, it can certainly have a huge impact on her health, and her ability to carry that child through term. And I've always been mindful of the point of the fact that whatever the mother is experiencing in her environment, the child is also getting that whole negative vibe also, if it's negative. So my thing is, make sure that the environment that the mother is in during her 9 months of pregnancy is as pleasant as you can possibly have it, okay, and supportive. So again, as I said, the vertebral subluxation, which causes nerve interference, disrupts the body's communication system and can detrimentally affect the process, okay, of that human, as that child is developing. So it becomes critical that a mother-to-be does everything possible to ensure her health, okay, during the entire pregnancy. And I firmly believe that chiropractic is an important part of the process from conception until the delivery occurs. And this is where I firmly believe, because I've had the experience over the years of being in practice, and I think one of the most beautiful things to see is, husband and wife coming in, being under chiropractic care, all the way through to the mother delivers. And then as soon as that mother delivers, within a week or two after, and I recommend they come in sooner, but to see how, as the time goes on with those two parents, as their child is coming in with them, watching, and actually over time, I've had a really interesting experience where husband and wife had a child, and then each time they came in, they would come in, they would get their adjustment, and then the child, beginning, sometimes would be apprehensive, but then all of a sudden one day they get to a point, 2.5 years of age, 3, they'll come in and they see their parents jump on the table, get adjustment, then that child will jump up on the table. And from that point on, because they're seeing, again, we see this, a child sees it, and they see mom and dad doing it, so now it becomes wired into their head that this is something that's going to be really good to do. So it's important. So another thing we want to talk about is look at what are the potential stresses upon the baby. Okay, so it's a very important factor to consider. That is one of which every woman realizes that all too often that they will ignore. It's the physiological relationship between the mother and the developing fetus that is so significant, so important. And this is why I think that chiropractic becomes such a vital, important aspect of the overall care for that mother as she's going through the process. Okay, so we got to think in terms of this. Think about this. Every beneficial thing that a pregnant woman does for herself also benefits the baby growing inside of her. So it means that whatever you put into your body, whether it be thoughts, whatever you see, even making sure that if you watch TV or news or stuff like that, for me, I would say to any pregnant woman that wants to really make sure that her baby is developing in the right way, is to stay away from watching negative news or listening to anything negative or being around negative environment. Okay, so So conversely, we want to look at every detrimental thing a woman does to herself is also harmful to the baby. Okay, so you just got to really, take that into consideration, understand that it's so important. So take it a step further, that, good food is beneficial, right? So, and a poor diet is going to be harmful to the body, okay? During the time of pregnancy, making sure you're drinking, really good stuff like primarily your water. Obviously, you want to stay away from alcohol because, again, it could cause some harm to your child. Smoking, all of these things that can detrimentally have an impact on your child. Given the environment that we live in today, I mean, just think about it. There's an article that I read that we come in contact with like 80,000 toxic chemicals within our environment. So there have been studies that show that when a child is born, they took a sample of their placenta, or whatever, they found that there was so many chemicals inside of in the placenta. So so if we understand that obviously we don't live in a perfect environment, but we can certainly do things that are consistent with bringing about a very healthy delivery, and making sure that that child has the best opportunity that it can, by making sure that we do all of the necessary and more importantly, mostly natural things that we can do to bring about a healthy child into the world. Proper exercise. We know that being the mother being healthy, making sure she's exercised, getting proper rest will produce a healthier child. I mean, these are just very simple, common, not common knowledge things that we can do. But living in the world that we live in today, everybody's busy doing this, that, and the other. There'll be a tendency to forget about that. Okay, so for that 9-month period, the mother to be and the developing child share everything that goes on with the child is experiencing. Okay, so the good and the bad, the beneficial and the harmful are occurring. So we want to make sure that we live this balanced life where we're going to lean more towards the side of doing as many good things as we can, and as few of the detrimental things as we can, to make sure that is a very, very healthy developing child. So it's important to understand. So we talk about chiropractic during pregnancy. Why? Just understand that the objective of the chiropractor is to remove interference to the nerve system, which controls every body function. So we understand that. It's just much like if we look at the chart that we have back here, we see all the brain, the spinal cord, the nerves coming out, going to all the organs and systems of the body. It becomes important that we understand that during this period of time that we understand that the nerve system controls every body function, and when the mother's entire body is working properly, the developing fetus, which is a uniquely part of her body now, okay, will function better, will grow and develop better, and be delivered in the easiest and most efficient manner possible. And that's what I think that every a woman wants to have as she's going through this whole process of this 9 months of pregnancy. Okay, so if chiropractic is important for everybody, then it is also doubly important for the woman during her pregnancy. And I firmly believe that. I know for me, my wife, who we've just celebrated our 36th year of marriage, our 2 children, one is now 29, the other, my son Tyler, is 29, Reese is 21, soon to be 22 in September. But the beauty of it is that we, my wife was adjusted throughout the entire pregnancy of both of our children. Okay, and we found that by doing that, she had a very healthy process of those 9 months, and then also having those child delivered. And I'm blessed to have been in the delivery room to with my children as they were born into the world and delivered into the world. Okay, so it's important that we understand the significance and the importance of that. So I say all that to say this to you, that regular chiropractic care is essential for optimal health. I don't care who you are, what your background is. You're a human being. You have a spine, you have a nerve system, you have a brain. It's important. Like, I was just sharing this with one of my patients today, and I asked them, if they own different machinery, and they, said yes. That you own a car, yes. You have appliances, and one of the things that's very important for you if you want to maintain those appliances for years. And I asked the question, what do you have to do? Well, they said they have to check up on them. They have to make sure if it's a car, they got to get their wheels checked, aligned. Their engine has to be checked, tuned up. All these things have to be done. If the oil has to be changed every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, you do those on a regular basis. Man, look, once we can understand the importance of your brain and nerve system, okay, and how it works, and how your spinal bones or your vertebra are there to protect your spinal cord and spinal nerves, and that whenever the body encounters any type of prolonged stress, it will cause those nerves to short circuit, called subluxation, cause malfunction, because the brain is not able to communicate to all parts of the body that it was programmed and designed to do. The body will start going through a process of breaking down. Malfunction starts to occur. And once malfunction starts to occur, if it occurs long enough, then at some point in time, we may, and sometimes may not, develop symptoms. And unfortunately, we tend to wait too long. And my theory has always been, since I've learned about chiropractic care at 19, I see the value of being proactive and making sure that for my wife, for my children, even my mom and my pop, and my brothers and sisters all come in on a regular basis to get their spines checked, and if they're subluxated, we get them adjusted. Okay, so just to remember, and this is so true for everyone out there, I don't care who you are, that a properly functioning nerve system enables the body to reach its full potential in restoring and maintaining health, as well as enhancing other areas of your life, such as your job performance. And this is why, let me just say this, your job performance, your academic excellence, and athletic accomplishments. So if you look at many of your world-class athletes, they're all under chiropractic care. I would say the majority. I would probably say 90% or more are under chiropractic care. Why? Because they know that by keeping their spines properly aligned, it allows them to perform better. And so if it's good for them, then it's good for all of us. So remember that when a vertebra misaligns to the degree that it interferes with the improper function of the nerve system, which we call subluxation, the inborn self-regulating mechanism of the body cannot function as it should. And we need to understand that. I mean, it's like not rocket science, but man, if we just look at how the human system functions, how it's designed, then we'll see how important it is for every one of us to be under chiropractic care from the time we're born until the time we leave this planet. So keep in mind that what we do here in our office, and hopefully most chiropractors around the world, is we correct these subluxations to allow the body to have maximum performance. And so for a mother going through a process of 9 months of pregnancy, it becomes very critical. Becomes very critical and important that they have their spines checked on a regular basis throughout their pregnancy, so that they can have a much better delivery and have greater health, performance, and functioning as they go through that whole process. Okay? So my hope and prayer tonight is that you learn something from this, and that you will share this information with as many people as you possibly can. So if you're out there and pregnant, we strongly recommend that you come in, get checked, and then consider getting on a program of corrective adjustments to allow your body system to function better. Okay, if you have, your pediatrician, OBGYN, whoever you're working with, you may want to have a conversation with them also and talk about the importance of getting adjusted on a regular basis. Okay, so that will end my talk tonight. And again, I hope and pray to God this has been a benefit to you. And we are located here at 22 South Main Street here in Pleasantville, New Jersey. And we're here. You can call us at 609-383-9121. And we'll look forward to being back with you again in 2 weeks from now. So our next time that we'll be together will be, let me see here on my calendar, will be on the September the 13th and also September the 27th. Okay? So listen, have a super fantastic evening. And again, share this with all of your contact, especially those people out there that you know are going through pregnancy and having some back problems, and let them know that chiropractic may be one of the best things that they can do to bring about a better and healthier pregnancy and delivery. Okay? Thank you and have a great night.